Blessed be everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a tarot comparison between two different decks, as well as a message from the cards, because the card that came out today was the Magician card. We're doing a comparison between the Waite Smith deck and the Arthurian deck by Caitlin and John Matthews. But before we dive into that, I'm Sandra from MysteryWitchSchool.com, author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path. If you want to know more about Wicca, Witchcraft, Tarot, and shadow work, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. If you want to become a confident tarot reader using your intuition and knowledge, read a tarot spread without balking at it and feeling like a deer in the headlights or having to get your book out with the meanings, take a look at my Confident Tarot Reader course. There's a link in the description field below this video. It's also on my website, MysteryWitchSchool.com, under the Courses tab. So, let's begin. We have the Magician card represented in two different decks in different ways. This is the most familiar one you'll come across, and most tarot readers online you'll see will be using the Waite Smith deck because it's the most common deck, it's still the most favorite deck, and it's a good deck to work with, particularly if you are just learning the cards, because it's very representative of the meanings. There's been a lot of thought go into the work here by Pamela Smith, the artist. And so it is a really good deck to work with, not just from a divination point of view or tarot reading point of view, but also from an esoteric and occult point of view too, because there's a lot of symbolism here to do with the Western magical tradition as well. So here we have the Magician. And what we'll see in the Magician card, and I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see more clearly, is we have a figure here wearing like a white long sleeve tunic with a red cloak here. There's a lemniscate on top of the head here. You've got the right arm reaching up with a wand and the left arm down, pointing downwards. So in the Western esoteric tradition, that is as above, so below. So that simply means that what is happening above in the heavens or the astral, or in what we often refer to as the other, is brought down into manifest reality or 3D reality or whatever you want to call it these days. So this is going what is above, which is our thoughts and our feelings, bringing those thoughts, feelings, intentions into manifest reality, taking them from just the idea and the thought and the blueprint of what that could look like, and actually putting it into manifestation in the 3D world. So that's what the Magician is doing there in this card. You've got the roses in the card symbolizing passion, and also 4 Magician's tools: the cup, the wand, the pentacle, and the sword, which are the 4 suits of the tarot. So this Magician has these to work with, the 4 elements to work with, to be able to bring the idea into manifestation. It's a card of potential. You have all the skills and all of the tools you need to be able to bring something to fruition, bring something into manifestation. These are the positive meanings of this card. The Magician in a negative aspect can be the trickster as well. So you've got that, the stage magician thing, or the mentalist thing, where they're actually tricking you into believing that rabbits come out of a hat, for example. But in this case, it's upright, and I'm going to work with the positive meaning of this card, which is that the potential is there. The trickery side of it can also be that you may be tricking yourself into not realizing your potential, not utilizing your potential here, because you don't have the confidence in yourself to utilize the potential, or the trust in yourself to utilize the potential. If the Magician turns up, it can also be somebody in your life who appears to be a wonderful, enlightening person, but underneath the surface they're not what they seem to be. So that is a message in there too that's coming through today too. So it could be either way for you depending on what your circumstances are. And if you're doing a reading and you're using this card, you have to discern for yourself with the placement of the cards and your intuition with what's going on in the story as to whether the magician is representing a trickster or whether it's representing potential. That's the Waite Smith deck, by the way. The next card is the same card. It's the Magician card, number 1 in the deck, but it's Merlin in this deck. So it's referring to Merlin, the character of Merlin in the Arthurian legends and the Arthurian mythos. Because Merlin was the magician in the Arthurian tradition. And like the magician in this card, Merlin is there with there's a table. In this case, Merlin has a stone table. He's still got all of the 4 tools too. In this deck, the tools are the spear instead of the wand. Still got the swords, still got the cup, but instead of pentacles in this deck, it is called stones, okay? And the stone is represented by the gaming board, the checkered, the black and white gaming board of a game that I can't pronounce, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. And that represents Earth. It represents the stage on which everything is played out on this planet. It's a representation of the Earth element in this particular deck. We have the 2 dragons, which also represent the 2 sides in the story of the Pendragons. And you've got the red dragon versing the white dragon there, but they're coming together. So what seems to be duality is actually working within each other. So these are representing more polarity in this card, and how everything is a mix of light and dark, of hot and cold, and that these can merge and mix into each other, and one can become the other by adding a third element or adding a third force to them. So if you add heat to cold water, it will become hot water, for example. And in the background, there's 2 paths. There's one to a tower, and there's one to another home as well. So you've got 2 paths in this one. And I see this one here showing the duality, actually, of magic, the duality of the magician here. So you've got the trickster side of the magician, everything is not as it seems, or you've also got the potential. So when it comes to magic, when it comes to utilizing the skills that you have, what it is that you have available to you to create as the creator, there's 2 ways you can use that. You can use it to help, or you can use it to harm. And that can affect you as well as others. And the choice is always there on the magical path. Magic itself is neither good nor bad, harmful or helpful. It is an energy. It's the utilization of energy. It's directing intention. It's using thoughts and feelings to manifest something into 3D reality. That's all magic is. So in and of itself, it's totally neutral as to what it does and what it doesn't do. It's the practitioner that directs the intention. It's the practitioner that creates A or B. So as a magician, or as the creator of your life, what are you creating? Are you creating a path that's helpful to you, a path of joy? Or are you creating a path that isn't helpful to you, a path that is really, really uncomfortable? And this is, I'm feeling, it's got nothing to do with other people. So this isn't about using magic on other people. This is about how you're creating your life and what your beliefs are, how you feel about yourself and your skills and your abilities to create your life the way you want to create it. And is that something that is helping you, or is it something that's hindering you? Okay, because you're the creator of your life. So that magician is saying to you, Are you tricking yourself? Are you thinking that you're not capable of something when you are? Are you holding yourself back in some way? Is your mind tricking you? Is your ego conditioning or mindset tricking you into blocking you from doing or being what you know deep down inside you could be doing or being? And asking yourself those questions, that's kind of what's coming in at the moment to do with those two cards when I put those two cards together. Because in the Merlin card, I'm seeing the two options, which way you could go, and you being in the center going, okay, I have everything that I need. Everything. I've come into this world with everything that I need. What am I going to create? Which path am I going to create for myself? So they're the questions to ask. And they're the differences between those cards. If you've got various different decks and you're still learning the tarot, get 2 decks and do a quick little reading, maybe a 3-card reading with the same cards. So pick 3 cards at random and then in one deck, and then go grab those same cards in another deck and do a reading with both decks and just see what you see differently when you read with a different deck. The same question, the same cards, but different imagery, because you'll get different things from different people's artistry and the way that what they're bringing to the decks that they're creating. Okay, so once again, if you want to become a Confident Tarot Reader, I do urge you to join the Confident Tarot Reader course. There's a link in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I am Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.